And, the one thing that was really big for me hearing Danielle was just talking about boundaries. And so back in December, I put up a really, pardon me, it's a bit emotional still. I put up a boundary with my brother, and he's like my, probably like my best friend, and like somebody I've looked up to my whole life. And um, ultimately we've kind of drifted apart. And we, I've been through some stuff, and I've made some really big progress on my stuff, and really moved forward into a new way of being, and a new person, essentially, is what it feels like. And I hadn't talked to my brother a lot. We had a conversation on the phone back in December, and he just was very, essentially the conversation really showed me how hurt he was and how much pain he's really going through. And so I basically just said to him, like, hey, I'm not going to talk to you ever again. Like, you need to apologize to me, otherwise I'm not talking to you again. So that was the boundary I set with him last December. And since that moment, I've focused on him, because it's a boundary I've set on him. Okay. And it was really big just to hear from you, Danielle, how I really just need to shift that focus on the people I want to be around, and the people, how I want to be treated by people, and the company I want to share, uh, that aligns with the vibration I want to be on, okay? Instead of focusing on the boundary I've set with him. And that's 100%. Whenever I think about it, I think of him. So I'm not looking in the mirror, I'm looking across the table every time I think about this thing. And that's actually what I've realized today, is that's actually creating a bigger barrier to him and I ever rekindling our relationship, by thinking it like it's a boundary. So just by focusing on what I want and how I want to be treated and the people I want to surround myself with, I realize that's going to create the space for him to come back in my life sooner, which is ultimately what I want. But I just want to make sure that it's, if he's going to be in my life, he's going to be treating me that way and vibing that way with me. So that was really big. It was a huge takeaway for me. And then, Dion, it was nice hearing from you, buddy. Like, I've been in a very similar situation, and I caught myself, in the last couple of weeks, I've caught myself, without a conversation. There was a bit of written dialogue with myself journaling that helped me catch it, but essentially I found myself getting back into this mode of panic, like Dion, backs up against the wall, and I'm panicking, and when I panic, I start rushing, right? And when I'm rushing, everything is, it's like it's all off. So anyways, all I did was I slowed down. I was forced to slow down. The universe is really good at teaching us if we don't listen. So I was forced to slow down, and I just stopped myself. Okay, because I have a bunch of little things I do. So what's my quickest way to revenue today? And that's even what I did when I woke up this morning. And so I woke up, I sent an invoice to somebody. It was $110, but it's $110 that came back to me already. That's already been e-transferred to me. Anyways, so I don't really have much more to share beyond that. But Dion, it was really big to hear you, and great to connect with you in person, buddy. Seeing you in person a couple weeks ago was just as big for me as it was for you. And I hope that that reminds you about what she said as well. Like, it's important for us to stay part of our tribe, to be able to raise our frequency. It's hard on our own. So I think that's all I got for now.
That's good. Thank you for sharing that. That's
Yeah.
awesome. One of the things I'll expand on here that will serve Dion as well and anyone else is this idea of panic. When you're in that really low frequency, kind of the same as like Mike in the fear, it's not that you're in panic or fear. It's that you're in a frequency that really wants to transcend. And the feeling of it is panic or fear. It means that there's a version of you that wants to transcend. There's a version of you that wants to evolve. And it can only show you that in these really frequency ways, which is like fear or like, man, I'm in panic mode right now. So really become curious about like, what version of me actually doesn't want to be in panic anymore? What is it that's trying to be seen right now? Because we associate it as panic, but in reality, it's just a pressure point. It's a point of momentum. And looking at it like that, it's like, well, what part of me is actually transcending right now? What part of me is in panic right now? The part of me that is stuck, the part of me that isn't moving, the part of me that feels overwhelmed, the part of me that doesn't know what action to take. It's not just this elusive place of panic. It's so much more than that. And just reminding you guys that these spaces we find ourselves in are not like finite of like panic and fear. It's actually a whole frequency that's trying to transcend itself. So I just wanted to expand on that. I love that you took that perspective of the boundary with your brother, Taylor, and recognizing that if you focus on it, you're going to create the resistance, which won't allow him to come back to you. You're absolutely correct. But the greater part of that conversation, and this is the hardest part of this conversation, is once you remove the awareness of him and the boundary and projecting it onto him, you need to turn it around onto you, and not in a boundary perspective, but in a perspective of, how do I want to treat myself? Because if I want other people to treat me differently, it actually comes down to how I treat myself, because other people are treating you the way that you treat yourself. If you want to surround yourself with other high vibe people, how are you surrounding yourself with high frequency? Everything is a reflection and a mirror back to you. So yes, you want to do this, but if you want your brother to treat you differently, you have to treat yourself differently, because he has no choice. We have no choice to match the people that we surround ourselves with. So for instance, if I'm holding a frequency that I want, you know, I'm frustrated at somebody and I feel like it's their problem and it's their thing, they have no option but to respond to me in a way where they feel like I'm blaming them, which is a low vibe experience, when really it's me that's holding that. Instead of being like, yeah, you know what, I forgive them, I release it, like they're doing their own thing, I recognize it, I love them, right? Send them love, higher frequency. They have no choice but to respond to you that way. Oh, wow, I'm feeling love from this person. Whoa, I'm feeling supported, I'm feeling seen. They don't even know what's happening. So how you treat yourself and how you vibe with yourself is a direct reflection of everybody around you. So in that one with your brother, well, yes, it's your brother and you have a boundary for him. It's actually showing you something about yourself, which is the deep inner work that you're doing. So just highlighting that for you. And it sounds like you're doing that work. But it's so important that when we want people to treat us differently, it's actually about ourselves. How are you treating yourself? How are you talking to yourself? How are you treating others? That's the bigger part of the conversation when it comes to frequency.
Thank you. Yeah, I just need to, in my mind, I just need to keep sending more love to him. I get that. I do get that. So thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Cool.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed that video, I think you'll enjoy this one as well. And while you're at it, please subscribe to our channel. We'd really appreciate it.